Good day. Today we will having a discussion on the research to be conducted by SAICA on the actual cost of tax administration. This research is to be conducted following SAICA members' complaints that they seem to have been incurring a disproportionate amount and increasing amount of administrative costs in fulfilling their obligations towards the fiscus. Today joining me is the team leader of this group to do the research is Professor Sharon Smulders, who's an associate professor at UNISA, and with her is one of her team members who's a senior lecturer at the University of Pretoria, Sharon. Welcome, ladies. Sharon, to start off with, please introduce your team to us.
Thanks, Peter. The rest of our team consists of Professor Mandel Singleton from the Nelson Mandela University and Heinrich Dixon from the Tshwane University of Technology. All of them are lecturers at our respective institutions, and they've joined our team and will all be doing their PhDs with me as a supervisor on this particular project.
Karen, similar studies have been done by the World Bank and the Big Four. How is this approach different?
We would like to get a comprehensive tax compliance cost for individuals, small businesses, and then for the large corporates. My study focuses on the individuals, and we would like to know the hours that are spent internally and the hours that or the payment that are made to the tax practitioners and the other sundry costs. The idea is to get it to the point of submitting the tax returns, but then to take it further and to continue with the disputes and the tax compliance that comes after the submission of the tax returns.
Sharon, just to clarify to the viewers of this video, what exactly are we talking about when we talk about tax compliance cost?
There's lots of definitions of tax compliance costs, but specifically in the literature it's been narrowed down to three categories. You get your internal compliance costs, your external compliance costs, and then all your sundry costs. So if I look at the first category, it's your internal compliance costs. That consists of the time that you spend or employees in your business spend to actually comply with your SARS obligations with submitting your returns, etc., as Karen has just explained. So that's your in-house costs. Your external cost is if you get somebody from the outside, a tax practitioner, lawyer, a friend, a relative, to assist you with completing your tax obligations, submitting your returns, etc. And then you get your last category, which we call sundry costs or non-labor related costs, and that's things like your stationery, your traveling, your cost of traveling to go submit a return or to go see a SARS official or to do certain verification procedures. Those are things like that. Even your software, the computer software that you have to use, your internet costs, etc. So those are the three broad categories that we'll be looking at, and each of those are calculated in a different way. So we're looking just at the cost from an external. That's quite easy to get because that's the amount that you're paying to your tax practitioner or whoever assists you, and in some cases that assistance can be free, and we're also trying to put a value on that because that ultimately is somebody's time that you're using. And then you get the internal cost, which is generally the predominant cost. And remember, in some cases, it could be both. Some people have both internal and external costs, and obviously sundry costs as well.
Sharon, this seems to be a huge undertaking. When did you start, and when do you believe you're going to finish this research?
Well, I've been involved in tax compliance cost quantification for quite a while. I actually did my PhD on it, or I started back in 2010 with the World Bank, where they came to South Africa and did our first survey with the help of National Treasury and SARS, and we looked at the compliance costs specifically for small businesses. I then continued with that research and did it with SARS for my PhD, and we compared that actually to 4 different countries. So we have a sort of like a baseline for SMEs, but we do not have for the other individuals and large businesses. And also, if I look at the small businesses, we only looked at businesses with a turnover below 20 million. And I think there's a lot of businesses up until, above that limit that we just didn't consider at all. And that's the target area that we're looking at it now, because I think medium business play a big role in our economy, specifically with job creation. So we've started this particular project after we were approached by SAICA. It is a big project. We're looking at about a 3-year period. We're looking to go live at hopefully this year, but maybe into next year as well, depending on, I know we're nearing the end of the year, but must probably extend it into next year, and then we start with the analysis and report writing after that.
Karen, what are the main challenges in doing this kind of research?
I think the main problem is to get a representative sample, and that is a big challenge since the taxpayers' information that SARS holds is not publicly available, and we can't get to the people directly. We know our taxpayers, so we need to use as many platforms as we can, and hopefully the SAICA members will be the the beginning part and the main part, and then we would like to use social platform media. And so the biggest challenge is to get as many participants as we can.
Sharon, Corin has confirmed that broad participation is needed to successfully complete this research. But why would people want to do this research or participate in it, and what is the benefit to them?
All right, so the importance of tax compliance costs is that we've seen is that the efficiency of a tax system is critical. An efficient tax system is one of the 4 maxims, and it needs to be achieved, and compliance costs lead to taxpayers having to incur costs, and that influences tax compliance behavior, which eventually could lead to evasion. So the importance of monitoring the tax compliance costs is to ensure that taxpayers are happy and not incurring costs unnecessarily, which would then force them not to want to comply with their regulations. So also, tax compliance costs doesn't increase any revenue. Government gets no additional money, the business doesn't get any money, it's just the cost going out, and they can't use that income then or save income to actually create jobs. And I think that's the important thing, is that it will increase government revenue if these costs go down. It will improve investors' relations with South Africa, so investment in the country will be better if you've got low compliance costs. And ultimately, the biggest thing is that that money that is saved or not having to be incurred can help with job creation, which is critical for our country at the moment.
So Sharon, just to wrap up, any last words that you have to the viewers and the public out there, as well as to SAICA members?
I'd like to make a plea to all the participants of this survey. I know none of us like doing surveys. I know those of you that are going to be filling in the survey are very busy people. You don't have time to do this sort of thing. But this is important. And I think specifically for the individuals and SMEs that don't have a voice, that want to have all these problems but don't know how to voice your problems, to please try and complete the survey. It is long. It's between 20 to 30 minutes for these surveys, which I know is a lot of time. And none of us like doing it. But this is really an ideal opportunity to get your voice heard. And there's some good things that come out of it. For instance, the small businesses, we're not only looking at the bad stuff, we're looking at the benefits of tax compliance. We're looking at the small business tax concessions that are there to help these businesses. Are they working? Are they effective? Can you access them? But you also don't need to complete the survey in one day. We want as accurate as information as possible, and you can complete this over a period of time. The survey platform automatically saves your responses, so you don't have to come back and start from scratch. But to take your time and answer this to your best of your ability to get the most accurate information possible, so that we can take this to Parliament or to influence policy to make it better for all of us. So please, again, just from my side, I know we hate this. It's long, but take your time in answering it. You've got more than enough time. It doesn't have to be completed in one sitting, and try and provide as accurate information as possible.
I'd like to thank Sharon and Corin for joining me today and explaining to the public and to SAICA members what research this entails, what the benefits are, and how SAICA then furthers its own strategy of creating responsible leaders. Thank you very much for watching.